Okay, sorry it took me just a second there to get my mic settings up, but yeah, apparently the class we just did full class at the end there. I don't know if my computer overheated or what, but my stream got a little sticky and froze. The audio seems to be there, so looks like I'm going to have to reshoot this cursed class again. That just does not want to be shot. It's very, very resistant to being recorded. We have 30 minutes kettlebell core today. We're going to be down on the mat, have your kettlebell close by, and we're going to mobilize, warm up for today because we really want to make sure that our hips are open for today's class. We're going to work on our external obliques today and our lower abdominals. Now when I say lower abdominals, I just mean the abdominals that are attaching to the lower half of the torso, meaning the pelvis and the ilium. So a lot of our pelvic movement, SI joint in the back also, all of that kind of hip rotation and mobility is what keeps our hips happy, our lower back happy. So we're gonna start off by mobilizing and warming that up. So we're gonna begin with just a half kneeling stretch. Come up into the half kneeling position. And let's make sure, looks like I'm just a tad cut off. Okay, see me better this way, okay. So half kneeling position, make sure that your knee is right over your front heel. And also here we wanna make sure that we're tucking and squeezing the glutes, especially on this lower leg, so we have our hips nice and forward. You can push that back leg down into the ground and drive the hips forward and down. We should feel a nice opening stretch through here. Active glute back here, so you want to be able to squeeze. That's part of it too. It's not just a stretch, there's also a squeeze on another side. Muscles work in groups together. Take a nice exhale so you can go a little bit deeper into that stretch, and then we're going to switch sides. Same thing, knee over the front heel. You're going to be in a straight line, squeeze the butt, and drive. And you can push that back leg down into the ground, give you a little bit more of a stretch. Squeeze. Nice big breath, push down into the ground, exhale, go a little bit deeper. And you bring it back, and then down to the ground. Just gonna move my kettlebell out of the way. Down to the ground, onto our belly. Let's mobilize our hips now. You can have your arms in front. I'm gonna have them out to the side. Just make sure your elbows are in and you're not in this big internal rotation with your shoulders. And we're gonna reach the hips up and over in a scorpion roll. Just mobilizing, getting a good stretch through our abdominals. Our hips are mobilizing, they're rotating and extending. And we've got 10, 5 on each side. Big reach stretch. Glutes engaged. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8, 9, 1 more. Wide. practice, I'll show you from the side, is we're gonna get our hips to roll. So you can kind of feel the front of the pelvis, back of the pelvis. We're gonna start by tilting the pelvis forward. So these abs are gonna push down and in, and these hamstrings are gonna stretch. You're gonna kind of feel like you're pulling your butt cheeks apart as you pull the pubic bone down towards the floor. Then we're gonna roll that pelvis back. So you're gonna pull the pubic bone up, tuck your tail under, squeeze your butt cheeks, close your butt cheeks. We're gonna go through 10 rolls here. Use your hands, bend your knees, focus on getting the pelvis. I want you to feel the stretch. And really, you can put your hands on your hip bones. I want you to feel that pelvis. Rotating it and rocking underneath your fingers in the front. You're gonna feel active abs, stretchy hamstrings. 5 more rolls. Really feel big tuck, big tilt. One more. And then let's bring those knees in. We're going to go into a quadruped position now. And we're going to practice rocking back onto our heels. Now, when I have a neutral spine, right, see how there's just a little bit of a dip at the low back. So what we're going to practice here is maintaining that neutral spine. So as you come back, you're doing that rotation of the pelvis, right? The roll and the tuck, the roll and the tuck. So what we're going to do is roll as we sit back so that the spine stays neutral, because if we don't roll, we hold it in fixed place and go around, right? So you're going to arch, spread your butt cheeks as you send it back, keep that spine neutral. You need to check yourself in a mirror. You can do that if you have a foam roller or a yoga block close by. You can also practice balancing something on that little facet there and practice holding the balance as you sit back. Because if you can't get into that, if you can't get into that deep hip flexion without, and you round, that's really going to put a lot of pressure on your SI joint, and that's also going to put a lot of pressure on your low back. So let's not have that. Let's think about rotating as we squat, opening our butt cheeks. So that's a lot of words. Now we're going to do just that, sitting back 10 reps. Really want you to practice, feel, try to check in the mirror, maintain that slight curvature. It's really going to feel like you're sticking your butt up in the air, but in actuality, you are, right? Your hips are rotating so that your sacrum is on your hips can stay neutral with your spine, right? So your spine ends in your tailbone, that sacrum, which is the S of SI joint, ilium, which are your hip bones that you feel on the side, right? Those ones that poke out, they're a big press, they go all the way around, and your sacrum sits between, right? You got a hip on this side, you got a hip on this side, sacrum sits in the middle. So, even though your spine and your hips are two separate joints, right? They connect. And at that connection, we need the hips to rotate so that that connection can stay strong and tight. And hip rotation takes 1, hamstring flexibility, flexibility through the back of your butt, down the back of your legs, and 2, it's going to take lower abdominal and oblique strength. So today's focus is that lower abdominal oblique strength. But like I said, hips have got to be open. We're going to have this work right. So that's about 10 pelvic blocks before you were able to go as far back as you can hold it. Notice that you start touching, stop going that far. Okay, only go as far as you can control always. today. We're going to do like a glute bridge, but instead of our feet close, let's walk them out so they're nice and far. We're going to activate our core, squeeze our butt, okay? Remember, butt's part of the core too. We're going to lift up. Then you want to hold those hips up off the ground. Let's bring one leg in and out. So we're marching, we're training that abdominal strength, hamstring strength, and we get a little bit of psoas work too, right? So we want to strengthen the psoas, help them strengthen up. So on 3, we're going to lift up and march in 10 steps, nice and slow. I like to put my hands on my hips so I can feel that I'm keeping my hips level. So press through those heels, raise up, and pull in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, those hips up, 3, 2, 1, down, rest. All right, take a little roll side to side. Your hamstrings are cramped up. Maybe you want to stretch them out by lifting up and straightening your leg. Lead this high. Start there. And then work your way up. All right. Ideally, for hamstring flexibility, you want to be able to get your legs straight up, at least at a 90-degree angle, keeping your back neutral on the ground. So if this isn't doable for you today, and you're noticing that just now, make a mental note. Okay, hamstring flexibility is going to become my weekly challenge. Every week, I'm going to make sure to work on my hamstring flexibility because it's really critical. We have not just flexibility, but also strength. Okay, so let's do another set. Walk those feet out a little bit further. Tuck the butt under, lift, and march for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And lower it down. So now we're going to bring in a kettlebell. And we're actually going to grab 2 kettlebells. So one kettlebell, go ahead, grab your biggest bell. We're going to use this one as something to push off of on our foot. So that's going to use our kettlebell for a little elevation here. Both feet, if you can fit them. And if you have a yoga block, something like that you'd prefer to use, go ahead and use it. We just need it for a little elevation today. Scoot your butt nice and close, and let's grab a second lighter kettlebell. We're going to rest it on the hips. So we're going to go up, both feet pushing down into the kettlebell, lifting those hips up, and then we're going to stretch one leg out, and lower down. So both legs together, push up. You know what? I'm going to move my kettlebell so it's sideways and I don't rock it. Okay, so pushing up, extend out, lower down, one leg. Do not disturb it. But we're good now. Okay, both legs push down, squeeze up, extend one leg, lower down. And you can, of course, just use both legs. You can also kettlebell did not roll earlier. Which direction did I have it? Facing me? Handle. Nope. Maybe I did it with my yoga block earlier. Okay, sorry. My kettlebell is having technical difficulties. I'm going to do feet on the ground. So won't you join me? Feet on the ground. Let's finally get it over with. 10 reps. Maybe you got some practice ones in. Maybe you already did your 10. I'm going to do my 10. Lifting up, extend, and lower. And back. Up, extend, lower. And that way, we're loading with weight, that single leg glute bridge, but single leg, but we don't have to work the single leg going up, that eccentric training. So again, bring the hips level. You really want to make sure that you're not dropping the hip. So when I go here and I extend out, my hips are going to stay level. Right? So I lift up both feet. When I extend out, this hip stays matching the other hip. One more. Up, out, and down. Kettlebell to the side. On to our next exercise. We have elbow plank with single leg height. So again, this is going to be something where we use our both legs to set up, but we're going to pull in just with one leg, just like that glute bridge. So down onto our elbows. We're going to actually push our hips up to get our butt up over our butt, or get our hips up over our head as much as possible. Then let's walk it out into a plank from there. So that place that you felt your hips, you're going to pull one leg in, and I want you to lift your hips back up as much as you can. Think about pushing up from the bottom, right? So using these abs under here to push up, right? And stretching the butt in the same way. So elbows, bring the foot in, lift up and down. You can tuck the head. It's almost like you're trying to do a somersault. Push the floor away through the shoulders. We're doing 10 just like everything else. Last 3. Lift the butt up. 2 and 1. Lower it down. Come over onto the side. Guest visitor. So we're going to be doing a side plank with hip dips. So working those external obliques. If you want to do from the knees, raise and lower, you're welcome to do that. Just make sure that you keep your hips forward. Don't flex at the hip and scrunch the body. Stay open, lift, and lower. I'm going to go from the feet. So you want to stagger top leg out in front. And we're going to lift and lower 10 times on each side. Create lots of space in the shoulder joint. Don't crumple. Allow yourself to fall in. Push. Create lots of space. Lifting those hips up to our side plank position. Back down, lightly tap. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Switch sides. Top leg in front. And lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down to rest, and we're going to take it back to our first exercise there, the elbow plank with height. Rest, water. Very, very hot. I set the temperature up. Feel that position. Walk it out. It's almost like you're trying to pull up into a downward dog with that knee. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Over onto your side. Split those legs, and we're gonna lift for 10. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch sides. Lift. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, your third workout of the day. So let's rest a little bit. We're gonna grab our kettlebell. We have 2 new moves. Dead bug with hip twists. Oh, just the one. Sorry. I write these down and I wrote it very, very small today for some reason. So let's grab a kettlebell. I would do light or medium. Maybe medium is better. We're just holding it in our dead bug today, so you don't have to worry about pressing it or anything like that. So just holding it overhead. We're gonna be twisting our hips side to side, working those obliques, and I really want you to make sure that when you're doing your twist side to side, I'm gonna hope you're able to see this. So see how my hips, or my knees rather, are level? It tells me that my hips are level. So when I'm going over to the side, I wanna make sure to keep that level, because then I know my hips are level. What I don't want is to go like this. Nope, those knees not level. I'm not getting the oblique work. So right, I want those obliques. I want to stabilize my hip. Push that hip up and over so those knees stay level. If you need to, you can hold a light ball, a yoga block, something like that between the legs while you go side to side. And you know, maybe I'll do a more in-depth core series. That seems like that might be fun, where we can use some implements and other things like that. But today, just our kettlebell, just our weight, and we're using this weight to stabilize our upper body, help us hold that balance a little bit easier. Kettlebell's gonna be up. Remember, knees are gonna stay together. You're gonna reach up and over, and back to middle. Push that hip. Just like everything else, we're gonna do 10, 3, 4, 5, last 5, 2 more. Last one. Awesome. Are you able to keep your knees level? It's so hard. It's so much more challenging than you would think. But remember, right? Your knees on the other end are your femurs. So your knees, what directions they point, high, low. That's going to give you information about your hips, right? If you're able to look at them, you can see if one's higher or lower than the other. You can also take a look at your feet. If one foot turns out more than the other, you've got a tight hip. The one that turns out more, right? Tight here, it's tight on the outside, in the back, so it's pulling that leg open. They should lay pretty neutral, so almost like my hips are pretty open, so it looks like my right side is pretty good. It's just about neutral. My left side is still rolling open a little bit. I definitely know that my left side is tight. Okay, so that's enough chit chat. We got one more set of those rotations side to side, and then we have a fun little practice to just see where our balance and our obliques are at. So knees up, keep them level, reach up and over, and pull it back. More. Woo. All right. Kettlebells down. Time for our fun exercise. We just need to adjust this. Hello, a little bit. So. All right. 'With the resolution. Sorry everyone, I'm sorry the technical difficulties with the streaming, but it seems like this class has been streaming okay. So balance time. So why are we doing balance when we're doing abs, right? We've been working on balance and stability. We talk about the feet, how ankles play a big role, but the hips play a big role too, and the stability here. And we've been talking about kind of that hinge and getting our butt, our hips, to rotate as we bend or squat so that we're not irritating that SI joint. So in our single leg balance, we're gonna have a little fun. So it's like you're doing a single leg deadlift. You're gonna feel those hips. You're gonna hinge back, and then we're gonna practice. You're gonna kind of airplane, look up towards the ceiling, back down, and you don't actually have to look. If you keep your eyes focused on a spot on the ground, it's gonna be a lot easier to turn. And what we're doing is we're kind of rotating on that hip. My feet are cut off, but the important stuff is happening here. So really tight abs. We're just going to try 5 on each side. Nice and soft. Breathe. Turn and look. Turn, or don't look, but turn and turn both ways. So hips level. Drop back into a single leg deadlift. Let that back heel. Pivot. Let it feel a little stretch on your backside. Keep your eyes focused on the ground. Airplane to one side. Back to the middle. The other side. Middle. Want those hips to move. 2. 3. Tap down the foot if you need balance. 4. Last one. See how the other side does. All right, hands on the hips, shake it out, hinge back. Let's airplane. It's all in the hip, right? You can focus on tightening your abs, controlling the movement from the hip. 3. And 4. lower abs, obliques, how they work, twisting, stabilizing your hip bones when we're marching, and on one leg, letting it drop, right? Having strong abdominals, strong hips, happy back. So thank you for joining me for this slightly more educational version of our core class. I will have to reshare our last class because it just got some good turnout. This class I also recorded, so if it doesn't turn out, I'm just going to upload it. So we have that new discovery there in my IT department. So thanks for joining me. Self-care, self-love.